Hi, everyone. Welcome to the premiere of the Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star music video, and I'm so happy to have you here joining us. And to me, this is a cause for celebration, and when there's a celebration, it's a cause for a cocktail, right? So I've invited a dear friend of mine, Martin Lindsay, who I've known since we were in our 20s, and Martin is the author of an incredible book about my hometown, 90 years of classic San Diego Tiki. And this book is really incredible. We'll get into it a little bit more on the other side. But right now, Martin is going to share with us a cocktail. And why don't you tell us a little bit about it, Martin, before we roll the
I'm gonna make the Hurricane. Number one, it was in the book, and it was also a bar in San Diego, along with many other places. So I think it would be appropriate to show the video, and let's get into it, shall we?
That sounds great. Okay, and if you have your cocktail card, recipe card, pull it out now so that way you can make your drink, and then we'll all enjoy them together while we watch the video.
Excellent. Thank you, Judy. Tonight we're going to be making the original Hurricane recipe cocktail from Pat O'Brien's in New Orleans, originally from the 1940s, and we attribute it to Happy Culligan, the bartender and manager there for over 40 years. Starts out with a little gold Jamaican rum, some fashionola, and some lemon juice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a little bit of ice in the shaker, and then we're going to go 4 ounces of rum. So 4 ounces, we're going to go 3 ounces of the gold and 1 ounce. Don't watch how messy I am, okay? 3 of those, and 1 of these. And we have 2 ounces of lemon juice and 2 ounces of fashionola red. And this comes in three flavors. There's the green, which is more guava based, and then there's the orange, which is more orange flavored. This one has notes of cherry and passion fruit. Okay, so we got that. We're going to give this a little shake. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to fill up this with some ice. Use the Hurricane chimney glass. This is a smaller one. There's also 24 ounces, which are huge. But we're not going to do that one. That's too much. Oh, right here, right in front of me. 24 and 16-ish. All right. And, there we go. And I'm just going to do this. Pull this up a little bit like that. See how that is nice, bright red? If you use one of the more modern passion fruit syrups, it's not going to be that red. It's going to be more orange. And then that's why some of those recipes have grenadine in it to give it that red color that you would see at Pat O'Brien's. So we're going to top that off. A little more ice. Sorry. I'm messing up the Contigo bar here. So sorry. Then you can top it off with an orange or lemon wedge and a grenadine cherry, maraschino cherry. And what I do is I take an umbrella and I wreck it like it's been through a hurricane. Put that right there. Right there. then you're ready to rock and roll. So there you go, The Hurricane with Jonathan English's Fashionola. Enjoy. And be on the lookout for our new book on Fashionola, The Torrid Story of Cocktail's Most Mysterious Ingredient, coming 2022.
Well, Martin, that was fantastic. And I loved having that cocktail tutorial that you gave us. And what a great setting, too, your friend's Tiki bar, home Tiki bar. And, you know, Tiki is so popular now. And I know that you've been into the culture for a while and have quite an extensive collection that you've shared with us in this book here. It's got all sorts of ephemera and recipes and photographs, and just it's so comprehensive. And I know your fascination goes way back, but can you just tell our audience here a little bit about what got you started on writing this book?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I will say this: it's a group effort. A lot of people helped and contributed from their collections as well, and there's a lot of people in the Tiki community as well that shared their information with me. So I really appreciate that. What got me started really was, as I was in college, I worked in restaurants and also did a lot of work. I'm a graphic designer. I do a lot of work for restaurants as well. So I really like the aesthetic of all of the old menus that I kept on finding and would pop up every once in a while. So I started collecting them. I thought, you know what, this would make a really good book. And it was also some way to tell the story of the history and the social history of San Diego and Tijuana area. So,
and you've become very active now in a culinary history club or association.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of different groups around the country and the world, the culinary historians. I'm actually the board chairman of the San Diego Culinary Historians of San Diego. It's a nonprofit organization, and we give free monthly talks on food history and how it relates to all aspects of life, including society and our social customs and all that fun stuff.
Well, I love that because, you know, food and music, those are the two things that always make people happy and bring people together. And I think it's really, this is an incredible book because, I mean, this is my hometown, but even if it weren't my hometown, just looking at the whole history of the Tiki culture, and that started basically when the servicemen came back from overseas during World War II, isn't it? Or
yeah, it is, and it actually even started earlier. The military presence in San Diego was around even in the 20s, and during Prohibition, and the Tiki bars started out in Tijuana when people did drinks here in San Diego or in the United States. So even going back then, but primarily all the people coming back from the Pacific Theater and the Navy went through San Diego, and a lot of them stayed and started up Tiki bars.
They wanted to have a little reminder of the good part of the Pacific, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly true. In fact, the reason I'm here in San Diego is because my father went through San Diego when he was in the Navy during World War II, and he liked it so much he wanted to retire here. So there you go.
Wow, I love that. I didn't know that. I did not know that. That's fun. And so, everyone, I just want to point out one other little thing about this book, which is that I was surprised when I got this book to discover that I'm in not one, but two photographs in this book.
Yes, you are.
Which is, when you get it, you'll see it on page, what is this? I don't know, page 196 or something. And I'm going to hold it up there. Whoops. Wait a minute. I have to point here before I try and do it on the Zoom. Otherwise, I'm going to get crazy. There's me.
There you are.
With my best gal pals, Chili and Jeudi. And that's me also.
spotlight.
Yes, we're just having some fun shenanigans at the Pink Panther and on a sleazy bar tour and all sorts of places. So anyhow, thank you for that little surprise, Mark. That was fun.
It was great to find those old photos of the beginning of the Tiki resurgence,
yes.
in San Diego, and we were there. We can say we were there.
We were there. We were there. Well, thank you, Martin. That was fantastic. And I'm so glad that we all have this delicious, fruity cocktail to enjoy now while we watch the rest of the program. And I want to tell all of you a secret, and that is you'll have an opportunity to win your very own copy of this book if you comment now in the chat. So comment in the chat, and we will select a winner. And that's about it. Martin, thank you so much. I look forward to sharing your book with one of our listeners, one of our viewers here. And
it's been a lot of fun.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Enjoy your hurricane.
Yes. And now, before we roll the next video, which is the premiere of the music video, I want to introduce my next guests, who are Michael Marlen-Starr and Harley Salbacka, who are the dancers in the video. So let's roll the next tape here, and you will see that I magically changed my outfit. Ding! Well, now it is time to share the premiere of our Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star music video. And I am so looking forward to sharing this with you. It's been a long time coming. And first I want to introduce two of the bright shining stars who are in the video with me. And they are Michael Marlen-Starr and Harley Salbacka. And so we will screen the video now, and then I'll have a conversation with them at the other end. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, way up in the heavens where you are, oh, shine from above, for I feel that I'm falling in love. Twinkle, twinkle in the sky, while I give romance another try, oh, shine, silvery light, for I feel that tonight is the night. Confidentially, does he care for me? Did I hear you say that everything's okay? Oh, that's all I want to know. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, way up in the heavens where you are, oh, shine from above, for I feel that I'm falling in love. Confidentially, does he care for me? Did I hear you say that everything's okay? Oh, that's all I want to know. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, way up in the heavens where you are, oh, shine from above, for I'm sure that I'm falling in love. So you too, that was fabulous. fabulous. And I'm so excited that you were able to take part in this, and you just added so much to the piece. And I want to talk to you about, you know, your process and the choreography that you came up with, because I know it was based on some historical dances. But first, I just want to talk to you a little bit about yourselves. And there goes Winston. Oops, wrong way. He's going that way. Anyhow, I just want to talk to you about a little bit about let people know about you. So first of all, I'll start off by saying how I know you. So right before the pandemic shut everything down, there was this amazing New Year's Eve party that Paul and I attended. And it was a lot of the people who are in the Art Deco Society and kind of in that vintage world, vintage swing dancing, fashion, architecture, you know, sort of world. And it was seriously one of the best parties I've ever been to, and the best New Year's Eve party I've ever been to, hands down. And it was Gatsby style, everyone dressed. And so Michael was involved in putting this together, and it was a beautiful event. And at one point it was after midnight, and people were, you know, still sort of eating and enjoying the night. And I glanced over, and at the buffet table, I saw Michael, who I kind of knew peripherally, and had, you know, he's always been gracious when we've run into each other at events and such, and I've admired his dancing. And but he was at the buffet table, and he was carving some meat while singing. It's about you, the charms about you. And I didn't know he sang. And I was like, oh my God, this guy, not only is he like absolutely looks like he stepped out of, you know, the period. And not only is he an incredible swing dancer, but he sings also. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I need to propose to this guy to be my partner in future projects. And so I, you know, kind of pitched it to him. And you probably thought that I was like, who is this crazy person who is attacking me at the carving table? And I see Winston in the background walking. Yep. And I'm still pointing in the wrong direction, but anyhow. So what happens is we set up a date to meet and kind of discuss a couple of projects that I wanted to do with him. And it literally was like days before everything shut down, literally. And so we went to this restaurant, and I remember there's just kind of this really strange energy, because people who were in the restaurant were kind of like, ooh, should we be here? Should we not be here? And, you know, if anyone would like sneeze or cough or whatever, you'd kind of go, all eyes, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it was funny because, you know, there were things like, we were being told, okay, you shouldn't touch your face or whatever. And so, like, you know, I see Michael, and he's very casually going, I've got an itch here, and I'm not itch myself. And I'm like suffering from allergies, and I'm like, I'm not sick really. And Michael's like having anyhow, it was really weird and funny. But over the course of that whole 2020, though, we talked about a lot of different things we wanted to collaborate on, and this is the first one. And I'm delighted that he invited his roommate and friend Harley to participate. I would love for you to share a little bit about yourselves and what you're involved in, because you have so many interesting projects going on, and things that you enjoy, and things that you've done in the past, and things that you want to do in the future. So take it away.
I feel like I have to tell how we met.
Yes, please.
Yes. So I'm a trained dancer in jazz and modern. Like those are my true dance passions and what I've been trained the most. And that was what I went to college for and everything. And when I first was in like Orange County / maybe moving to LA, one of my friends was like, oh, we should go swing dancing. And I was like, well, I don't know how to swing dance. And she was like, well, let's go learn. And I was like, is there a place where we could just go learn that? And she was like, yeah. And so we went to this place in Pasadena. We went to the Lindsay group and paid to get in. And I realized so quickly as a trained dancer that none of these men I were dancing with actually had rhythm or knew what they were doing. And so I was there getting extremely frustrated in my little leotard and like high-waisted shorts and character heels, being like, why does no one know how to do this? And then I spot this very tall, lanky gentleman who's dressed better than anyone else in the room from across the room with that. You had a hat on at that point still, because it was earlier in the night. And I was like, he knows what he's doing. I need to go. And I literally walked up to him while he was dancing with someone. He was like, hi. And I was like, hi, I'm dancing with Phoenix. And he was like, oh, okay. And then afterwards he was like, okay. And I was like, hi, so I don't know how to swing dance. And he was like, oh, okay, well, okay, let me teach you this. Oh, well, you got that fast. Okay, what about this? And he just kept teaching me stuff. He's like, you're learning this fast. And I was like, yeah, I'm a dancer. Just keep going. And that's literally how we...
So you were talking about you were going to school or you were living downtown. You want to tell people where you went to school and what your background is?
Yeah, so that's actually what brought me to LA initially. Now, how long ago was that? I've been in LA 9 years, just over 9 years. And I came down here to study costume design at FITM. So I graduated with my degree in fashion design with the aim of doing costume design. Mm-hmm. And I had an internship briefly with a really big name costume designer. It ended up not immediately translating into a career, but that's still, back burner what I'm working on.
You have
obviously.
To say her name.
Colleen Atwood.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hello. Yes, thank you for making him say the name. Thank you.
I know. I was like, say it.
Yes. Fabulous woman, fabulous artist, so much fun to work with. It only didn't pan out because that project got the plug pulled. Like, I'm told it happens all the time in Hollywood. Oh, we're not making the movie anymore. So everybody scattered and moved on to some other project. And since I was just, the fresh intern, that I didn't get carried on to the next project. But that's still my passion is fashion, clothing, especially vintage fashion.
Well, Michael, you are so dapper. You are definitely a sartorial fashion plate. And I think, that sense of style is something that's, it's inherent. It's not just something that you can learn. It's just part of you. I think that's one of the reasons why I love the vintage scene, because you're not just buying clothing off the rack. People buy these old garments and then they put their own spin on them and make them their own. And you can buy fashion, but that sense of style is so personal, and it's really more intrinsic. It's creativity. And so Harley, okay, now you have a background. Your background is really interesting, and aside from the dance, you also have a podcast, and you have a background with comic books, and so tell a little about that.
Yeah, I mean, from a young age, I was raised on a lot of nerd culture, so lots of Star Wars and Star Trek. That's like what I was raised on. Star Wars, Star Trek, and old musicals. That's all we watched in my house.
Right.
Because my mom was.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, I know. Right? Because my mom was a costumer, and then both her and my dad were like pretty big nerds. And so I think that just translated to me having a passion for literature of all types, especially a lot of fiction, which eventually translated into combining my passion of art and my passion of literature into basically just reading comics, because that's what it does. I think that's something that people don't realize about comic books is it's not just superhero stuff. Like, you get some really gorgeous things. Like, there's some great vintage style comic books. Lady Killer, oof. Yeah. The one where it's like all 1960s, but she's also a murderer. That's a great one for the vintage community. And all the outfits in it are accurate, because the girl who draws it is also obsessed with vintage. So
Cool.
But that, and then I ended up running a comic book shop here in Los Angeles for like 4.5 years. And then now I work in graphic novel and comic book publishing, which is just really fun. You get to help tell stories and help people learn about new stories. And who doesn't love a good story?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the city of stories, right? So, Michael, but you also have a performance background too.
Mm-hmm.
So tell about that.
I do have a performance background as well. So I actually studied, before I moved to LA to study fashion/costume design, I went to a 2-year conservatory for performing arts called PCPA, which is the Pacific Conservatory of the Performing Arts. And that's in Santa Maria, which is in Santa Barbara County. But yeah, they taught us, I mean, everything. We took all sorts of classes, obviously basic acting classes, but also dance, singing, voice and dialect. We did units on clowning, Suzuki, all these crazy things that you don't get to use a lot in other places necessarily. I mean, the tools you learn from them, you get to employ in a lot of places, but it's fun and interesting on its own. You wouldn't get that experience in very many other places. So Definitely an amazing experience that I wouldn't trade for the world.
So now, which is still tugging at your heart most, the performance or the behind the scenes, or both?
You know, I had so much fun doing costumes and stuff for the scenes that we did, and I was so into the aesthetic of it that's what pulled me in that direction. But of course, I'll always be at heart a performer, and so I still, you know, like doing things like going out dancing or singing at karaoke, or just, you know, in the living room for my friends and playing the piano, which is one of my other, you know, sidelines, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, the performer in me is still very much nascent. It comes out.
We used to kill it at karaoke, live band karaoke back in the day.
Back in the day, we're just waiting for that to reopen so we can let our hearts sing.
Well, talking about killing it, you guys really did an amazing thing during quarantine. And for those of you who are not familiar, I'll fill you in. During the pandemic, when everything shut down, they put together this incredible series of photographs, and they were all highly art directed and thematic and just so funny. And people just loved it and really benefited from it so much, because it brought this light in this moment of darkness. And I would look at the comments in the feed, and they were all like, thank you so much. I look forward to this every day, and you don't know how much this is helping me. And it was just really wonderful. So I think that was just an amazing gift to people. And why don't you tell us more about it?
I think that we wouldn't have survived the first 73 days, because that's how many days we did it for. Without doing that, because like we're both such creative people, who dabble in so many creative things, that we were like losing it.
We needed an outlet. I mean, like I was just saying, we're both born performers, and so we needed some sort of something to put that creative energy into. And I don't even really remember how it started, but just within a week, we do decades. A lot. We dress, we pick a specific decade if we're going out somewhere. And so we did like a 50s Friday, I think was the first one we did.
Yeah.
And then we started just going through and doing the decades, like 60s Saturday, 70s Sunday, whatever. And then once we ran out of decades, we would run through them all once. We started coming up with other alliterative ideas, and it just snowballed from there. Oh, there were a lot of good ones, so it's hard to pick one favorite, but I think no, definitely the one where we recreate the Degas painting. There's this painting called, I think, L'Absinthe, where there's this really depressing looking woman sitting at a table at a bar with a glass of absinthe in front of her, and this grizzled man in the background smoking a cigar. That one is my favorite, because we do the side-by-side of our recreation in the original painting, and I think it turned out really well considering how limited our resources
were. It was so hard. That was definitely our hardest shoot.
It took a good hour or two just to get it. But
and then I think our funnest were the pirate one, where we're drunk.
Oh, I love that pirates. One. Or laying on this couch,
that was
upside down. That was a close second.
And then classes, I Love Lucy, because Look at us.
Oh yeah, I actually wore a jacket pretty similar to this one, like open collar. I look a little Ricky Ricardo with my hair like this.
Yeah, and I had my hair all done up like Lucy.
Yeah.
And then the Tiger King one was pretty good.
Oh my goodness.
I was the Tiger King guy, and he was my tiger.
Yep, we got to put a mustache on her for that one. So.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Great with a mustache.
Yes, you do.
Oh, the feud, Betty and Joan.
Oh, that's my favorite.
That one and Working Girl. Oh my God. Those were hilarious. So good. So good.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to we have to basically, it was your idea first, I think, to do the book.
A couple people suggested it, but yeah you're the first person who springs to mind, so it may very well have been your idea.
Yeah, exactly. And and you brought it up not that long ago, and I was like, oh, right. And so I reposted some of our photos, and I was like, should we make a book? And everyone was like, yes, make a book. So we're gonna make a book. I know how to print books.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's not only is it really fun and silly and creative, but I think it's a really good historical document of that time frame, because we lived through it, and, people in generations to come, they're going to be wanting to know, what was that like? What was that experience? And how did people deal with it? And, and I think it's a really valuable historical document in that sense too. So, yeah. And speaking of history, tell me about this historical dance that you put together.
As a swing dancer, I know a fair amount of like historic dances, even if it's just the basic step. And we had originally wanted to try a new one for this video called the Baltimore. And the videos that I found online were just choppy enough that I couldn't quite piece together the dance really accurately. We might try that one for a future video, but I ended up going with an old mainstay that I learned from a Doris Day movie, I think called On Moonlight Bay or Shine on Harvest Moon, one of those. And it's like set in the Edwardian era, and they do a lot of those ragtime dances that you hear talked about in the popular songs of the time. And so she demonstrates one called the Turkey Trot at some point in the movie. And so we decided to go with that one because it's really easy and jaunty and fun. Yeah. And then, played with it a little bit. But yeah, it comes from an old MGM movie that is referencing an even earlier time. So very much Hollywoodized form of this traditional dance that you don't really see much anymore.
Well, those animal dances from that period, there were so many of them, and they were considered all really sexual. And, years ago, I was working on a show, and one of the songs that I was developing for this piece was the Grizzly Bear Rag. And, people would sing that song in public, and they'd get arrested for lewd behavior. Sophie Tucker got arrested for that. And it's just, you listen to the lyrics now and you're just like, what? I mean, you don't even hear what could cause that. But I think also it was just the type of the dance. It was just so kind of grabby, and people held each other very tightly. And, there were certain dance halls, and they would say that the Grizzly Bear Rag would not be tolerated, nor would the Turkey Trot.
Oh, yes, because
so funny.
Daytime dancing and drinking became popularized during the people associated with the 20s, but actually in the years leading up even to the First World War. And so, yes, dances like the bunny hug, the turkey trot, the grizzly bear were all done in very close proximity and approximated animal movements, which then, of course, made people think of other things that animals do. And it was very salacious and very scandalous. So, of course, the youth reveled in it.
But, yeah, so I really love what you guys did with the dancing in the piece. And I think it just adds so much. So I want to thank you again, and I'm delighted to start this artistic collaboration with the two of you, and I look forward to all the other creative endeavors that you're going to be making, because, us artists, we just got to keep keep creating. It's just keeps us sane. It's our super sanity saver.
Indeed, it is.
Yeah.
Well, it was our pleasure working with you as well and dancing for you. So thank you for involving us in this wonderful project and ongoing projects.
Of course, we're always happy to come back and dance again as many times as you want, or act like.
Well, thanks so much. It's been a delight talking with you, and really such a pleasure to work with both of you. Thank you to Harley, Salbacka, and Michael Marlen-Starr. And now we have a special treat, and that is that the two of them have recorded a dance tutorial, and we're going to show that now. So all of you get up off the sofa and get on your feet and try out these dance moves.
Hi, ladies and gents. My name is Michael, and this is my partner, Harley. Today we're going to be teaching you a classic 1920s dance known as the turkey trot. First, we'll do a little demonstration for you, and then we'll break it down to make things a little easier. Harley? Now, time to break that down a little bit. This dance is mirrored. Both of us are doing exactly the same step, but on opposite feet. So first I'm going to show you the man's part, and then Harley will show you the ladies. All right. So gentlemen, you're going to take your left foot, lift it slightly, and it'll be a 1, 2, 3, 4, starting on that left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as a stylistic choice, if you want, you can bring the feet back slightly. 1, 2, 3, 4. But again, that's entirely optional. So after that quick 1, 2, 3, 4, you are going to do a sliding step starting on that same foot. So it'll look like this. Step, together, step, together. Let's do that again. So starting on the left foot from the beginning, we do 1, 2, 3, 4, step, together, step, together. Now, that entire combination you're going to do again to the opposite side. Starting on your right foot, 1, 2, 3, 4, step, together, step, together. And it's as simple as that.
Mirroring the men's feet, women, your weight is going to be on your left foot with your right feet up to step 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember, you're back on your left foot so that your right foot is free, so you'll be able to do the next part, which is step. Let's do this one more time from the beginning. Weight is on your left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this foot is up, your right foot, and you're going to step out, slide close together, and then step out again. Slide close together. So when you close your feet, you're going to bring the other one up so that your weight is in the right place. All right, let's try that again. So start with your weight on the left foot, right up. 1, 2, 3, 4, step, slide. Now your weight's going to be on both feet, but I like to kind of shift it so that it's a little bit more on my right than my left at this point, so that your left foot can pop up to do the same exact thing in the other direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, step, together.
And now we're going to show you a slight but very easy variation on that same step, where instead of doing a step, slide, we're going to have you just step forward, and it's just a very easy, very basic walking step in place of the step slide. Now let's show that to music. And that is the turkey trot, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for this little tutorial, and thank you to my lovely partner, Harley.
Of course, thank you, Michael.
Our pleasure. Have fun dancing.
Well, now we have a special treat for you, and that is a little behind-the-scenes look at what went into making the video. And for me, I love seeing process videos and learning how artists make their projects, so we thought it might be fun for you to have a little look into what we did. We co-produced this together, but my husband, Paul Hemstreet, gets all the props for doing the editing, and he had to do some magic to make us look like we were flying in the sky. So he's going to just give you a little talk about how he did that, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, everybody. I'm down here in the lower left-hand corner, and I'm going to show you today how many layers there are in this music video, because there's a lot more than meets the eye. So if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you can see our dancers, and I'll play a little bit here. We're dancing in the field of stars. And bring it back. And now I'm going to take off some of the layers. So I'm going to turn off the stars that are appearing. We have some outer space. So now we just see our dancers, and I'm going to take more off here. And now you can see they're dancing in our backyard with our garden around them on a hot summer day. So I built many different layers around them. The first thing I did was crop off the sides, but there's this gray carpeting that kept on coming through. So then I matted that out. And I want to show you a little bit about that, because I had to create this mat around their feet. And I had to build that for every single frame because their feet move so fast. And here I can turn it off. There you can see it's just on the carpeting, but I could flip it back and forth. So I had to keep on going and cleaning that up for every single frame of them dancing. Next time, I'm getting a really good green screen. Now I'm going to add back the layers. In the background, we added some stars. And if you see the scrim behind them, we rebuilt that on the sides and then added on another layer the animated stars that were coming in. So you can see there's actually 6 video layers stacked up. So now I want to show you a little bit of the animated star. So Jeudi was shot inside, but also added a whole lot of layers around her. With Jeudi as well, I had to create mats. So I'm going to go to her shot here, turn those off. Here you can see Judy's actually in our living room. You can see lights off to the side, and I shrunk this picture to make her smaller around the stars and added that circle mat around her. Add in cloud, and we add in the star. So you see their little animated star. Way up in the heavens where you are, oh shine. Which was taken from a drawing that our son Gustavo made, and then we worked with an animator to develop the layer of animation, which is on a separate channel. So there you have it. We have over 6 video layers, all stacked up for the entire video. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Hi, everyone. We're here in our office with our most important collaborator and our muse, Winston. And Paul, I just have to thank you because that was really interesting. I really enjoyed the piece that you put together telling us how you did all the layering for the music video.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a lot of fun to put together, and the whole video project was really great to collaborate with you and work on so in depth on that.
Yeah, well, it was fun too because, you know, it harkens back to when we first met, and you were in your 3rd year editing your thesis film at Cal Arts, and I would go and visit you in your editing bay. So yes, that was the start of something special.
Yeah, she brought me tea and scones, a whole tray, a meal, which was quite amazing.
Sealed the deal, right?
Yes.
Anyhow, so I wanted to share with you some other aspects that went into the making of the video. You know, people wonder where the ideas come from, and so for me, when I'm singing the song, I'm always thinking about who am I singing to, and who is listening, who is the person that I'm, you know, in the scene with, in the motion picture, which is the song. And in this case, I'm singing to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So we needed a star. And I knew that I wanted us to be I wanted dancing in the stars. And you heard about how I found Michael and Harley. And then we also needed some stock footage, and my dream was to have some animation. So started with our son Gustavo, who is an artist, and both of our sons are incredible artists. And every year when it's my birthday or Mother's Day or Christmas, I always ask them to give me original artwork because that's what's most meaningful to me. And so I had been telling Gustavo about this project and that I wanted it to look kind of like 1920s animation. And so, in fact, if you haven't noticed, I love to do research, and I research all my projects quite a bit, and I have notebooks for everything. And this one is branding reference animation, right? And in it, I have a whole section that's on anthropomorphic figures that were popular back then. And so Gustavo took that idea, and then when it was my birthday, he made this little card for me.
So cute.
Really cute. You're my star. Happy birthday, Mom. And the moon is super cute, too. The moon, he's got the tube arms and the tube legs, like in the, old animation of the era. So I saw this and I said, oh my gosh, this is perfect. And Gustavo, I need you to draw a star for my music video. So he came up with this, okay? And it's the evolution of the little one that he did. So college student that he is, he couldn't, he got wrapped up in his own projects and he couldn't further develop the animation for us. And so we hired a CalArts alumni by the name of Stephanie Delazeri. And she collaborated with Gustavo back and forth. She would send a design, a rough drawing, and then we'd show it to him, and then he would make some comments, and then she would, implement them, and so she came up with that charming star figure, and I love how he kind of goes hubba hubba at some point in it. It's so cute. And what else, Paul? Oh, the stock photos.
Stock photos. All the archival photos. And I love the way you brought new life to those old photos by having me put them in the piece, and so many great ones to choose from.
Yeah, going back to the research again, when I'm putting together these projects in my head, I'm always thinking of what the story is and how to best tell it through the combination of the live footage, the singing, all the different elements, and the stock photos really play a big part, because for me the whole thing is about traversing time and memory via song, and using these archival photos to tell that story. And so it's kind of hard to find them, and especially if you're looking for something very specific. I was looking for things with stars, and I found some things with stars, but then they weren't sparkly, so then I added the sparkles to them. And did some photo manipulation to bring out the aspects that we wanted, like the skirt that's twinkly, and the wand that's sparkly, and the headpiece, and all those things. And then I told Paul, I said, for the one part I needed hearts, because I was thinking of in Charlie Brown when Sally's in love, and it's her sweet baboo, and she has little hearts all over the place. And so I said, I need hearts. So then I found some hearts on Canva and created that element and gave it to Paul, and then he put it together. And then the same thing with the Cupid. I found that and then did the little animation for that, and then Paul took that and put all of these elements together in this real cohesive and beautiful way. And one of my favorite things though is when you have Michael and Harley, and they're the star, and they're the shooting star that comes in and then explodes in stars. I love that.
It's their little starship.
Yes, that was really, really cute. Anyhow, so thank you so much, and it's so much fun to work with you on these projects. And
So much fun.
and Winston, you're such a good muse.
Yes, he is at my feet maybe half the time.
And okay, so here's one more thing a couple of things that I want to tell you. First of all, I'm so happy you've been here with us, and I'm delighted that you've been participating in the chat. And so for those of you who have been participating in the chat, and if you want to sneak in some comments now at the end here, we will enter you in a contest to win Martin's book. And also, I have some new merch that I have just prototypes of. They're not available anywhere yet, but I will we'll do a raffle, pull a name out of a hat, and these are the things you could win. Look at this. The Twinkle Twinkle Little Star coffee mug, and I love that it's blue inside and the blue handle. So cute. And then look at this. A flask, Midnight, the Stars and You. It's a flask. Cool. It's really cool because, you know, I'm thinking of what would be perfect for the era, and, you know, it's 100 years ago we were in the Prohibition era, and we're now in the new Roaring 20s, so a flask, right? And then look at this. We have these, which are coasters. Look at that, because you don't want to, you know, we had those nice cocktails earlier with Martin, and you don't want to mess up your nice furniture. So each coaster is a different song. I'm creating a project. All of these are part of a bigger project called Love Outshines the Moon. And I'll be sharing more about that in the coming months. And there will be a big release for that project. And if you want to stay tuned and be a part of the journey with me, I'd love to have you come take a ride on my airship. If you have not already joined, you can join by going to jeudi.biz, jeudi.biz. Most of you who are here live, you have already done that in order to get the invitation to this, but you can share that with all of your friends. And speaking of sharing, I have one more request for you, and that is this. If you could please just go back after this ends, and you can go to just the music video alone of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. If you could leave a nice comment and like it, that would help me tremendously in building my numbers, my analytics. I'm, you know, for someone who was horrible at math, me talking about analytics is kind of laughable. But anyhow, it would just help me so much in growing my audience and getting the music out to more people. And you know, that's what I'm all about, is spreading this joy and the lightness of this music. So anyhow, that's it. And I hope that you're going to join us in the Zoom party room, because I would love to partay with all of you. And so many of you I only know through social media, so it's really fun to have an opportunity to meet you, and we can have a little meet and greet and a little chat there, and who knows, I might raffle something else off, right? So that's it, and thanks again. You can go and pick up all of my music on Bandcamp. It's jeudi.bandcamp.com. And you can go and pick up all my songs there. And, you know, truly, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, it was a song that it didn't get so much loving or so much attention at the beginning, because it's one of the first 3 songs that I released last summer. And I was just flying by the seat of my pants, and I really didn't even know how to market it or how to get the word out. And it just kind of got buried. So I would love it if you could go and, you know, love it on Spotify and listen to it a bazillion times, or once or twice, or a bazillion times. And that's it. So anyhow, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Winston, for being a wonderful muse. Yes. All right. We'll see you in the Zoom room. Thank you. Bye. Bye.